Hello everyone, I'm George from Ireland. Behind me, that's the house of Benjamin Britten, there with a blue plaque above my thumb. Anyway, Benjamin Britten is one of the most famous British composers of the 20th century, and indeed of all time. In my uneducated opinion, he's one of the worst composers. I know nothing about music, but I've really derived no pleasure from listening to his work. I was forced to listen to a bit of The Young Person's Guide to the Orchestra by him when I was at school. Came out in 1962, showing the various instruments. Or indeed, I was involved behind the scenes of the production of what's called Turn of the Screw at Zurich Opera House in 2013. I'm not saying it's a bad production, I can't really judge these things, I just don't like the music. Find it totally uninspiring, and I'm someone who quite likes opera. A real aficionado, but as I say, I'm musically uneducated. But my penny's worth, well, is worth hearing, because ordinary punters, they express a view, not just the experts. There is no right and wrong in music. Anyhow, he says born in Suffolk in 1913, and he said his work was often to reflect the struggles of people and the sea. Born in Lowestoft, which is on the coast, and he was a child when the German Navy bombarded it in 1916, killing about 100 people. His father was a dentist, so they were quite well off, but his father was a cold and lofty figure. He had 3 siblings. Anyway, he went to a local public school called Gresham's, which he disliked deeply. He found an escape in music, listening to many of the most popular composers, going to concerts when he could, playing his instruments, reasonably academic, and furthered his musical education after the First World War, when he grew up here in London. When he was 24, he met a young man named Peter Pears, another musician who's to be the love of his life, and they formed a relationship which lasted to the day he died. So they lived together. Now, they were openly homosexual, but they were faithful to each other. Obviously, homosexual behaviour, even in such a relationship, was illegal until 1967, so they couldn't go around telling people about it. Their friends knew, but in public they had to be a little bit discreet. They were just 2 friends who happened to share a house, and indeed a room, and indeed a bed. There have been doubts about some of his relationships with teenage musicians who might have been below legal age of consent these days. Was there something untoward about that? But nothing's been proven. I don't think there are any allegations that he committed a crime against them. Anyway, so he published numerous pieces here, performed as well. Pears was often his muse. They moved to the United States during the Second World War. They took some flack from that. They should have been here to do their duty or keep morale up. Came back, and then he was sort of a grand old man of music here by the 1960s. And indeed, he was ennobled in the 70s. So he died at the age of 63, would have been about 1976. Yeah. So that is Benjamin Britten. Yeah, I really don't rate him, just in case you wanted to know. He got the Order of Merit too. Okay, toodaloo.